please, Mr. Santa Claus. All I want this year for Christmas is just one more Godzilla KOTM 2019 repaint from Hiya Toys. That's all I want this year, Santa. That's all I ever... Oh shit, that was quick. In this series, we're going to be taking a look at every single Hiya Exquisite basic figure in the Godzilla line. Every repaint, reissue, 2.0, whatever they put out, we're going to be taking a look at them all in release order. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Hiya Toys review. Closing out 2025, we are finally taking a look at the last KOTM repaint that Hiya Toys has released or even announced to this day. Now, I am sure we will be getting more repaints eventually, especially when Supernova comes out. You just know Hiya's going to reuse this mold. But for the time being, this is it. We've caught up to all the KOTM repaints. And what a repaint to end the year on. So what do we have? Here we are taking a look at the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic King of the Monsters Burning Godzilla Battle version. Now this figure is a little unique as this was Hiya's first attempt at an event exclusive release. This figure was announced in September 2024 and was exclusively available at Wonderfest 2024. Now, thankfully, they received enough pushback that they did do a timed release to the general public. After Wonderfest in November 2024, Hiya Toys put this figure up for sale exclusively on their website. Now, if I remember right, they gave you 30 days to place an order through their website. And then those orders shipped out roughly January 2025. But once that cutoff was met, that was it. This figure's done. This figure has not been available since. So this is, to this day, the most elusive figure from Hiya Toys. Now, before we get too far into the video, I do just want to say, for those interested in picking one of these figures up, the only difference between both versions is that the Wonderfest version has this exclusive Wonderfest sticker on the box, and yes, this is a sticker. And the general release version, if I remember right, just doesn't have the sticker. I'm pretty sure it's the same box art either way. Holy shit, Hiya Toys really delivered here. This figure is outstanding. Now, I know this is ultimately just a repaint, but just like the Energized Godzilla we just took a look at, the paint applications on this figure are simply incredible. The figure is going to be cast in a dark orange, almost dark red plastic with multiple layers of paint added on top of that. This thing has a beautiful coat of very dark gray bordering on black, dry brushing applied top to bottom, head to tail, very reminiscent of what they did for the Flameborn Rodan, as well as several coats of washes applied. I mean, down in the thighs, you have this dark orange piercing through the cracks on the skin. On the front of the figure, you have more of that orange, but it's bleeding into the dark red plastic. Then on the sides, you have this vibrant, almost neon orange applied. Again, mostly into the cracks of the skin. We haven't even touched the spines yet. Oh my god, these spines. It's almost like they dipped the tips of the spines in black as it fades into orange, as well as the occasional washes of yellow applied. There's little streaks of yellow in the neck going down to the body. I mean, this thing is outstanding. I look at those eyes. There's no detail on them, like there's no pupil or anything like that, but they have this fierce glow emulating with the sharp yellow eyes colored in, accented by that orange. I can't stop gushing about how good the paint application is on this. I mentioned in the Muto review that their Muto looked pretty comparable to a Spiral Studios statue, all things considered. And let me tell you, the same can be said about this figure. Look at this paint application compared to a Spiral Studios figure. I mean, holy fuck. And to really showcase just how much better this one looks, let's now compare it to the original Burning Godzilla. I mean, guys, it's not even a contest. Spines aside, just look at the paint apps on the bodies. There's so much more going on the battle version. So much more definition. So much more bringing out the sculpt. Again, just like the energized Godzilla. All of that sculpted detail is really coming through here because of that paint application. And I mean, those spines, again, it speaks for itself here. While I very much enjoyed the original Burning Godzilla when we took a look at it, it's so hard to look at these side by side and still prefer the original. And if that alone doesn't sell the figure, just like Energized, yes, this figure is also translucent. Look at this. All of that reddish orange is going to shine through the dark gray dry brushing, and it just is jaw-dropping. How they've gone about this figure is the best that this mold has looked to date. But wait, there is more! All of that dark orange paint I was mentioning earlier, that is all UV activated paint. Again, it's unfortunate I don't have a stronger UV light because I can't just beam this thing and show you the whole thing top to bottom. But just taking a closer look, let's look again at those eyes. It's incredible. They've painted the eyes with 2 different types of UV activated paint, so you still get the glowing eye effect. Just when I thought that this figure couldn't get any better, it has all of this crazy paint apps. This was an insane figure to lock behind an exclusive in-person event. I cannot believe that you cannot get this figure anymore. And again, you combine the UV activated paint with the fact that it's translucent, and the results are just astonishing. Now, I'm still not the biggest fan of the UV paint. Again, I think it's super gimmicky and super specific, but I can't deny that how they've applied it here, it doesn't take away at all from the fact that this is Burning Godzilla. Unlike something like the Flameborn Rodan, where you needed the UV light for it to work as a Flameborn Rodan, here it just accents the figure. And as if that still wasn't enough, this figure also includes exclusive accessories. We're going to circle back to that topic. Let's go back now to Articulation. The Articulation is not something you haven't seen before. What I will say is, just like Energized, right out the box, the tolerances on this figure are basically perfect. This figure moves the smoothest out of any of these fucking figures. The tail, just like Energized, look at that. It's rock solid. It's not going to pop off, but it is just as limited as all the other figures. So you're going to get a curve kind of like that. It's going to go up about that far. It's going to go down about that far. Again, this is all the same articulation, guys. The legs splay out about that far. They go in that far. The knees are on double hinges. Now, what I will say is the ankles, look at that. That's possibly the best ankle tilt we've gotten out of this mold. I don't know if that's the tolerance being adjusted or if that's just due to this being a different material. Either way, very nice. Still could be better, but very nice. The most impressive thing is actually going to be the waist. Again, exact same articulation, exact same engineering as all the other ones, but the tolerance has been adjusted to where, look at that, you can get a decent ab crunch, and you can actually now rock it side to side a little. Look at that. It's nothing crazy. It's not going to get you anything more with this figure, but this does feel very nice to be able to rotate it around freely. And then, of course, the arms, the shoulders go up that far. They spin around. They're on ball joints. Elbows are on hinges. They can go about 90 degrees. And just like my Energized, you can hyperextend them backwards if you want. And they are pinned hinges. And then the wrists, ball joints. Again, very fluid. Neck, this is still the most disappointing aspect of this mold. The neck is extremely limited. Head really just looks forward. And then you can look up. It's on a barbell, and the jaw, of course, hinges, and the tongue is, of course, on a hinge. This is the KOTM figure. Articulation is what it is. Now then, accessories. Just like Energized, This figure is going to come with a pair of fists. Look at that. Very easy to pop on. It adds so much. Just a simple little thing like fists or any other extra hands. But Hiya Toys didn't stop there. This figure includes a pair of exclusive accessories. What the fuck are these? Well, let us now turn our attention to a figure from just a couple videos ago, the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic King Ghidorah Gravity Beam version. What you get in the box with the battle version Burning Godzilla is an alternate neck piece for King Ghidorah, a battle damage neck piece. Now you get two halves. One of these is meant to slot onto the neck or replace the neck of King Ghidorah about right there, and the other part is meant to plug into the detached head. And again, just look at that. Beautifully painted and sculpted. Now do note that this is only compatible with the golden version. Well, I shouldn't say that. What I should say is that this is painted to be the same as the gravity beam version, excuse me. So it is going to be golden. It is going to stand out. It will not look appropriate on any other figure. So that is kind of a bummer. So what it is saying is that you want to rip the head off at the fourth joint, starting with the head, 1, 2, 3, 4, rip that off. And that's where you'll plug in the ball jointed piece. And then you'll attach the neck onto the other side. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to rip the neck off right here. It is the fourth segment. It is where the neck is going to start to curve. That's your segment right there. Oh, okay, we ripped the head off. Let's just get this done. Well, the plastic is still soft and malleable. There you go. There is a Ghidorah head, nice and severed. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And then you're just going to take this and just plug it onto the figure. So here is how your King Ghidorah would look with the severed neck piece attached. And here is your severed neck piece. This is a ridiculously cool accessory. This is the kind of thing you just don't see anyone do. And this is what we should be getting with repaints. It just kind of sucks when, you only had 30 days to get this, but I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to go through the last round of size comparisons for this series this year. So, here is the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic King of the Monsters Burning Godzilla Battle version compared to the tried and true SH Monster Arts Godzilla, the Bandai Action Figure Series Godzilla, a Super 7 Reaction figure or two, a Titanic Creations Young Gary and Pulgasari, a NECA Mothra, and here we have the complete King of the Monsters lineup. The display options that you will have with Hiya Toys is immaculate. Just look at this. This is a fucking banger of a display right here. And you can, of course, take it even further with the variant of your choice. And speaking of variant of your choice, we will, of course, now be running through the gauntlet of all the KOTM repaint comparisons, starting, of course, with the original KOTM mold. Then we had the first Heat Ray Godzilla figure, the first Burning Godzilla, the GVK repaint, the translucent Heat Ray version, the GX Kong pre-evolved figure, and most recently, the energized Godzilla. Alright, let's start to wrap this video up now before my lights start to die. That was a lot of time spent on setting all that shit up. All those comparisons. There's a lot of figures taken out of boxes and whatnot. Okay, the battle version of this figure is simply phenomenal. This is hands down the best repaint of this mold, and it's not even close. This one figure has every technique Hiya has been developing over this figure line. It has the translucent plastic. It has a sophisticated paint scheme. It has a UV paint scheme. It has exclusive accessories. It has improved joint tolerances out of the box. The only possible thing that could have made this figure better is just to re-engineer the mold. But anything outside of a 2.0 or a 3.0, whatever the hell they would call it, this is it. I truly believe this is the best that this mold can get. And all that is very unfortunate just due to the exclusivity of this figure. The disappointment was immeasurable from people who wanted this and who heard that you could only obtain it from Wonderfest. Now, Hiya does get credit where credit's due. They took that feedback, they listened, they opened up another wave of orders, but it only lasted a month. So if you want this figure now, you're kind of fucked. And this figure is pretty expensive in the aftermarket as a result of that. When it launched, for normal retail, this was a normal $51 figure, I think. I had to check the numbers on that again. Yeah, this was a standard MSRP figure for all of this. That is fucking crazy, guys. So on the one hand, this absolutely has my glowing stamp of approval, but it's really hard to recommend it today because I just don't know how comfortable I would be in saying you should go run out and spend $200 on this. I don't know if I agree this is a $200 figure. But it wasn't $200 when it came out, and this would have been a steal when it came out. It's a real unfortunate situation to be in. Now, I know aftermarket's no stranger to the Godzilla hobby, of course, but Hiya Toys has done a pretty good job at skirting around that awkwardness up until now. They've reissued figures a number of times. A number of their figures at this point are off the market. That's just the nature of the beast. You can't always have these things in supply, but a one and done on this figure, that really kind of stung. That really stung for a lot of people, especially people who missed the memo that it was an open order window. Now, thankfully, I don't see this being an issue going forward, as Hiya Toys, as usual, is extremely responsive to feedback. And they heard people loud and clear. They want figures like this available, not locked away at events. So, skipping forward a little bit now to the most recent Wonderfest 2025, they did not have any articulated action figures exclusive to Wonderfest 25. They did have a couple exclusive stylist figures, but even then, I'm pretty sure they had those more available than this figure was. I could have sworn I saw those stylist figures available on like Calcus, for example. Hiya Toys sold them. They understand now going forward that anything that's exclusive to an event, they need to be able to sell online to some capacity, even if it's exclusively through their website. So, Wonderfest exclusives are not going away, but I think they are going to be learning from this release, and I do think that they will be easier to obtain in the future. If you can find this figure for a reasonable price, absolutely jump on it. This is a fantastic figure. You will not be disappointed if you like what you see here, if you've been liking what you see in this video. I hope everyone has had a fantastic Christmas, fantastic holiday season. The videos will continue next weekend in the new year. So join me now for a moment while we say goodbye to the following figures. These figures will not return in the Hiya Toys videos for the foreseeable future. Maybe they'll return one day. But in the new year, let's shake it up a little. Let's get some new blood into these videos. Thank you all for joining me, guys. With this, I bid you all a good night and a happy new year. I'll see you next time, guys. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for 2026. See you.